Welcome back to Cold Front Convos. I'm Adam, joined here by Alex in the Bills hoodie, Goose in the Goose hoodie, and Mitch in the Josh Allen, Wyoming jersey. Go Pokes. So, kick this right off, jumping into the Bills, just dominating the 49ers in the old snow globe game here in Buffalo this week. It was... The way the game went changed very quickly as soon as CMC went out. I was, to be honest with all of you guys, I was very nervous as he was gashing us. That the first two, now we held him to a field goal, obviously first possession, but he was averaging 7.5 a carry. Tyler Rapp saves a shoestring touchdown before he goes out. So with the way both teams were running the ball, I'm glad we didn't play McCaffrey for the full time.
Yeah, I think it's a much closer game if he does. I still think Buffalo pulls it out, but I think it would have been, more of a 3-point game, maybe a one score into the late of the fourth quarter.
I mean, it always kind of seems on their opening defensive drive, it's always like a bend, don't break situation, and then they adapt on the next series, and then they adapt a little bit more. At least that's how it's been the last couple games. So given that he was gashing them that first drive or whatever, I kind of, obviously you guys know, I was out the game, and then I was sitting there with Andy and a couple friends or whatever that invited us, and like, bend no break first series, bend no break first series, and then they kicked the field goal, and then they obviously just completely just dominated from there. So after their first series, which was terrible, but it just made adjustments and just kind of move forward.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line played particularly well throughout the game. I mean, I don't think Josh was really pressured much at all, if any. So, I mean, yeah, footing wasn't great, obviously, but when our guys can dig in and hold the line and put pressure on the other side, I think it was a great showing on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing that made me nervous that game was our special teams. I feel like that's like our Achilles heel all the time. I mean, like the punt returns, everybody's just running on us.
Yeah, Debo had a couple of good returns.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I'll say, though, is though McCaffrey could have racked up yards, I mean, he had 55, 58 in essentially a quarter and change. They did not have an answer for Josh or James Cook.
Nope.
I mean, Allen goes 13 for 17 for 150, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, the weird, he ran one in, and then obviously the weird pass catch touchdown with the lateral from Cooper. But I feel like with the way that their defense was both set up, and they just never reacted or made the correct adjustment to the run game. Davis was averaging 5 a carry. Cook, granted, he had the super long one, but 7.5, 8 a carry. Ty Johnson had a handful of carries. I don't know that they had the horses to keep up with us down the
Well, even on the flip side of that, San Fran's offense is ranked one of the worst in the red zone. So, and that's kind of where our defense is at its strongest, is inside that 30-yard line, 20-yard line.
Yeah, red zone's 20. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Purdy just looked terrible, like through the whole game.
Yeah.
He looked completely lost. Obviously for the first 3 quarters or whatever, just looked completely just lost.
I can't imagine his shoulder felt too great either. Still probably bothering him, and then the cold weather and getting hit quite a few times.
Yeah, Rousseau had a sack. Vaughn had a sack. Quite a few pressures and hits. I mean, he only had 98 passing yards in a game that they played from behind from, the first quarter and the first quarter on. And that's where Debo kept returning the ball on those kickoffs. And we only punted a couple times, I think. But Debo was getting, 50-yard returns on the kickoff, which was I just kept shaking my head. But
I just don't know. I don't know what they got to do to fix that though. Like that's always they've our special teams hasn't been good for a while though.
no,
We made some plays here and there, but overall, I would say no.
consistently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be like a 20-yard average on us returns, which is not great.
No. I will say, I don't know if you guys saw the stat. Cook got up to, I think it was 21.78 miles an hour on his run, which was the 7th fastest by any ball carrier all year. And it was the fastest Cook's ever run.
And it was in the snow.
And it was some snow.
Which is nuts.
And
he was outstriding those DBs and the safety. No one ever got a shot at him.
Well, and they're saying how much snow is building up underneath their cleats, that they're having to scrape it out. Like that's some wet, sticky lake effect there.
Yeah, it really was. And it was kind of crazy because it really wasn't. I mean, you're looking up to the weather forecast pretty much right up to the game, and it was only supposed to snow at like 8:00, and then it was supposed to stop pretty much from 8 to 8:30 and then be done. But it started snowing 7:00, 6:00, and just kept going.
Cost me $7,000. 27 yards, $7,000. I would have won. Don't bet.
Yeah,
Insert betting hotline here.
Yeah, I had something that I actually hit on all 3 of my anytime TDs, but I didn't get the yards on the receiving yards for Matt Collins and for Amari Cooper. Matt Collins' over was 18.5.
I needed Josh Allen to throw for 175.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, it's nice to see them win a physical game. I mean, it also probably helped not having Bosa against us and not having Trent Williams on the other side with both his injury and his family situation, which is terrible, obviously. But it helps when 2 studs from the other squad aren't there. I mean, Kittle only had 1 catch, 2 targets. Like you guys said, Purdy was just lost the whole time.
I was expecting more out of Kittle, but I mean, obviously that goes back on Purdy. So,
yeah, Juwan Jennings was the only guy making plays. He made a couple of starches too.
Yeah,
I was going to say, like nobody on that offense is really doing much of anything.
No, and then McCaffrey got hurt, obviously, and then so did what's his name, Jordan Mason.
Back up, Mason. Yeah,
Mason got hurt. He's done for now. And the guy that's ended up scoring the touchdown, it's like Ariendo or something like that. I'm sorry, I screwed up his name, but he, I just picked him up in fantasy.
Me too.
I needed a guy for this week. And I was like, let me grab him. Let me see if he can't do something, because I have 2 guys on a what's it called, on a bye.
On bye.
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of teams on bye this week.
This is
really messing my fantasy team up.
This was mine 2 weeks ago. I had like 3 teams on a bye, and they were all on my team. Yeah. I had to fish deep into the waiver wire.
So, I mean, so now we have coming up, we got the Rams in LA. They're 6-6? I think they're 500. But,
yeah.
But a healthy Puka Nacua and a healthy Cooper Kupp, I think I'm confident in the trio of Douglas, Benford, and Taron Johnson being the ones that are going to kind of work through those guys, but Kyron Williams is good too at the running back spot. It'll be a good test for our defense to see where they show up, but I'm confident our offense can score. I mean, we've had 7 games this year with 30 points, which is ridiculous. But I'm confident our offense can score against that Rams D.
Yeah, losing Aaron Donald in retirement. I know that their defensive line is still pretty good, but our offensive line is able to stop pretty much everybody that's been going after him. Allen. Right. So I feel the same way. I have a lot of confidence going in this game.
Pretty decent amount of confidence. I'm just, you never know which Rams team is going to show up, because you can have the team that played a couple weeks ago that put up like 30 something points on, who was that, like the Eagles or something like that, or Minnesota, or like
they were a barn burner with somebody.
Yeah. And then the next week, Matt Stafford looked terrible. So it was just, you just never know what team you're going to get.
What's nice though, at least you don't got to worry about him scrambling. So
Yeah.
they'll be able to apply some pressure.
Yeah, he's that guy that climbs only 4 yards in the pocket. He might squeak out for a 5-yard run or something, but he's not.
You get a hand on him. Odds are he's going to end up collapsing or, taking a step into the wrong direction. So we'll see.
So we'll get to the picks later on that one, obviously, but wanted to talk quickly on Allen being the odds-on favorite. But if you listen to the Twitterverse, there's two camps. Well, maybe three, I guess, 2.5 camps. There's the Josh Allen has done enough this year, finally, made enough big plays. He's limited the turnovers, and he's made steps in the right direction to be the MVP. Then camp 2 is Saquon Barkley is on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record. And he has 11 TDs and probably would be, if they weren't doing the tush push up that way, probably be in the 15 or 16 range. Can't count them because they're not there, but it is what it is. And then last but not least is the Lamar Jackson three-peat camp, because Lamar is still leading almost all QB statistical categories, which is what Josh did.
And I think that's biased, though. Like, I mean, it comes down to this percentage and stuff, his QBR. When you run Derrick Henry, 30 times a game, and you're only throwing the ball 18 times. The one week you only threw the ball 12 or 13 times in one game, and it went for 9 for 11 or something stupid.
He's leading the league in touchdowns still.
Right. Yeah. So total touchdown.
Less. Yeah. No. Like
there's a passing after.
Well, no, he's behind Burrow. I apologize. He's behind.
Yeah.
But
isn't Burrow he has pretty good stats though for QB?
Yeah.
He's leading the league in most.
Yeah,
if you're going by stats, he's clearly doing amazing right now. But his team is horrible.
Yeah.
His defense is horrible.
His defense is horrendous. Yeah. The fact that they've scored 35 points in 6 or 7 games this year and they've lost most of them is insane.
I think it goes back to Josh Allen being more of a need for Buffalo than Saquon Barkley is for Philadelphia.
I agree with that.
I think you can put in. Even if you put just James Cook in that offense, he'll do the same thing. If you put he's a top 5 running back, but even if you went down a step down, I think Philadelphia is still a playoff caliber team. I don't think Buffalo is.
I don't disagree with you. Go ahead, Goose.
No, go ahead.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't know that they actually put the word valuable to the team in the consideration. Because look at, Josh has finished in the top 5 3 times, in the top 2 twice, or the top 3 twice for MVP voting. And you take him off of any of the teams we've had over the last 3 years, and besides maybe Mahomes or maybe CJ Stroud last year, no one's taking the Bills to 12-win seasons.
No.
So he, and you saw it when he was out a couple of years ago with that shoulder, when we had Barkley in and we had Trubisky in for a little bit. I remember at one point, those games were both
his elbow.
We had a better team than on paper than we do now, and those games were still scary for us because we didn't have Josh. So
well, back then too. You still had your defense that was carrying the team, and even then, our offense couldn't keep up to give the defense a chance. So,
go ahead, Goose.
No, I was just going to kind of say the same thing to some extent outside of that. Philly's team was really loaded last year too. They just completely had a collapse, whatever it was. But they've essentially have the exact same team that they did last year, only now they added Saquon. They did lose a couple guys in the secondary, but they added a few, and they added better coaches, like coordinators. So, you put Saquon essentially on a stacked team or on a team that was already loaded. They had a really good offensive line last year. They lost Kelsey, obviously, but they moved some people around, and you still have a really good offensive line. They didn't look very good at the beginning of the year, but AJ Brown was hurt first couple games, and those first couple games. Once AJ Brown's been back, though, they've been firing all cylinders. I mean, they've won 8 or 9 straight games,
something like that. Yeah. And Devonta Smith is out right now. He may have played this past week. I don't remember, but I know he missed some time too, as another stud receiver.
And what does Barkley need to what does he need, like 100 and something yards a game, 160 yards a game right now?
No less than that. I think he's at like 1450 right now, maybe 1500. So I think as long as he gets 100 yards and low change a game, I think he's fine. And they'll give him the ball. He's going to get it 25 times if that's what it's going to take.
Well, that's the thing too. He catches screen passes. He goes on routes and stuff too. So they utilize him left and right.
Oh yeah, and they should. He's one of the best running backs in football.
Yeah,
I mean, the guys up in New York got to be shaking their head.
Way to go, New York.
Well, they picked Danny Dimes over him, and now they don't have either.
What a disaster that is.
That's the GM.
Yeah.
Can we talk real quick on how Sean McDermott's not even listed as a top 5 coach of the year
on the MGM Sportsbook?
Yeah.
They always do that though. It's always like a newer coach. It's never somebody that's been on the team for long. Because like even like Harbaugh, then he didn't win it. And he was
last year,
right?
I mean, you can make an argument for McDermott, but it's probably who are the favorites right now? Probably Mike Tomlin, who's never won it, by the way.
Kyle Rudolph.
Andy Reid.
I mean, their team was really good last year. I mean, Andy Reid, you probably need.
He's not on the list. I don't think was
Andy Reid. I don't think
he was number 5.
Yeah,
he was on there. He was number 5
either. But another one that might have been a good one that they haven't really talked. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is definitely a good one. I mean, they pretty much got rid of all their best players, that were there. Keenan Allen gone, Eckler gone,
and that's
you can make Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn could be another one. Coach of the year. I was trying to think.
Dan Campbell was on it, and so was the top 5 were Dan Campbell, the coach from Minnesota. I can't remember his name. Andy Reid. O'Connell. There you go. We already said one, Harbaugh. And who's the 5th person? I don't remember. But it was not, McDermott wasn't in the top 5. And to me, I guess you'd have to consider, if Reid's on the list, you'd have to consider McDermott. Just given that it was supposed to be a rebuilding year, all the names they lost. Now, granted, no one's done anything anywhere else. Diggs was the only one having a good season of people who left the organization until he tore his knee up. But I think at 10-2, out of team that everyone said preseason was going to be their worst year in 5. Locks up their division. Granted, division sucks. Locks up the division second day of December. That's
Well, I mean, you lose Poyer, you lose Hyde, you lose White. Milano goes down with injury. You lose what's the other? Dodson, the linebacker. So on the defensive side of the ball, decimated. Offensively, Diggs, Gabe Davis. So I mean, I think he should.
Mitch
Moore as well.
Yeah.
Leadership wise, yeah, I think he was.
I think center. He made a lot of calls. He wasn't the best lineman we had, but he did help Allen, I think, make defensive calls at the line.
Yeah, agreed.
So, all right. Let's talk around the NFL a little bit. There were some strange games this last week. You had a couple of tight ones that you didn't expect to be tight. And then you got games like Carolina. They take the lead late on a Thielen touchdown with like 30 seconds left. And Mayfield gets them into field goal range. They make the field goal with no time left. Carolina drives the ball down the field on their overtime possession, and then Chuba Hubbard coughs it up. And not drive down the field, but going up the field. And they cough it up, and Tampa Bay wins one where they essentially scored 10 points in 30 35, 40 seconds.
That was the first part about that bet that I would have won 7K was Tampa Bay minus 2.5 and Baker Mayfield threw over 200 yards. And it just hit because they went to overtime and won in overtime.
Hey, did you have, and no one did, obviously. I would have seen the ticket on Twitter. Did anybody have Jameis Winston to throw for 450,
No.
4 touchdowns? And
That for 497.
497, sorry.
Yeah.
497.
Yeah, Russ threw for like 420 something, didn't he?
Yeah. And then Winston, some stat, 497 and 4. But if you count what he threw to the other team, 667 and 6.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes. And then at his his press conference afterwards or whatever, he's obviously very devout, strong in his faith. And he said he's praying to God to deliver him from pick sixes. So the guy is nothing if he's not quotable.
Yeah.
But like I saw the term in there on Twitter. I want Jameis Winston on a team in the NFL, not my team, but I want him on a team because he's exciting. He's exciting to watch. And then the Jerry Jeudy revenge game goes for 250 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Tennyson,
on my
Madden
bench.
numbers.
Levi Wallace was just letting them go.
I'm glad we let him go.
Yeah, I saw that when he was covered by Patrick Surtain Jr. for the second. He was 2 catches for 18 yards. So,
Man.
just a mess. Anybody else see something interesting in the
Chiefs that they should have lost?
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Another
Chiefs.
game. So
Yeah, that
I'm
was
still not sure what happened at the end of that play. Like, was that like a dead
It should have
ball
been
foul?
offside, or not offsides.
False
It'd
start.
have been false
False
start.
Yeah, false start, right?
The false start happened first, and then because the guy snapped the ball too quick, like too early. But then instead of that, they called the illegal shift, which then allows play to continue.
live.
It's still live play.
but they
It's
blew
a
the play dead.
continuation. Then they blew the play dead when the Chiefs got the ball back.
Yeah,
and then,
the ball was out on the field. Like the video replay, the ball was on the field on the ground. Nobody recovered it yet, and they're blowing the whistle, blowing the play dead.
Well, because you saw the line judge at the top of the screen. They showed it on replay a ton of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him running in, giving the false start sign. But the Chiefs started the best. What was it? The Steelers a handful of years ago started 10-0. Then I think the Bills, they lost, and then the Bills beat them the next week. But people were saying they were the worst undefeated team in the history of undefeated teams.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it was a couple 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Juju Smith-Schuster was still on the team, so it was a bit. And I feel like Kansas City is that team right now. They're doing enough to win games. They're getting lucky. They're getting all the balls bouncing in the right way. And problem is, they're still really good. They're not
They're still a
playing.
dangerous team.
They're
Yeah.
still dangerous.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if they can flip it on, they can flip a switch at some point over the course of the next, 4 weeks, and then catch their groove the last 2 weeks of the season before the playoffs. They're still going to be the Chiefs.
And somebody's supposed to, what's it, the receiver's coming back.
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they just got Pacheco back. I mean, Kareem Hunt wasn't, running terribly when
he
in
was
his
still
absence. I mean,
he was still running really well.
He was still running really well. So I mean, if they get those two going as like a dual threat backfield first,
It's going to be the narrative.
that's going to be very scary. That could be very scary. With play action off of that.
Getting healthy at the right time.
I wouldn't want to play them in Buffalo in the AFC Championship game in the snow, the way Pacheco and Kareem Hunt both run the ball, and our proclivity to not tackle super well against teams that pound the ball.
Or would you rather play him in -5 degrees to 10 degrees in Kansas City?
I'd rather play him in Kansas City. If the snow versus no snow, I'd rather play him in Kansas City. If we have no snow here, then obviously here would be better.
Right.
But look at that. I don't know that we can run the ball on them the way we ran on San Fran.
No.
So
That
We didn't run the ball well against them when we played them a few weeks ago. So
that's the
their
fact
defensive
Cook had
line is
two
good.
touchdowns. I mean, but those are all like really close. They weren't. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Buffalo signed Micah Hyde today.
yes.
Yep.
Mike on the practice squad.
Welcome back. Glad to have you.
Welcome
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
That's where he
like
wanted
you
to be,
guys-
though.
like
Yeah,
you guys
right.
said in the text message chain, good depth move. Makes
Yep.
sense from a depth standpoint in case anybody gets hurt. Knows the system.
I guess he was a
Definitely be
practice
somebody
parent.
they could bring up. Could definitely bring somebody put on the team against a team that runs heavy because he is good at run defense and stuff like that, playing down in the box.
Yep.
So
Yeah, he came out a couple days ago, I guess. After he got the kids situated with school, I guess he flew out and has been in town for a couple days.
Yeah, he said he ran scout team running back today for them. He said, I left my ego in San Diego. He goes, I don't, just here to help and, help bring these guys a championship.
Get that ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ring. He said, I guess it all started because he texted Jordan Phillips,
Yeah, I saw it.
go get that ring. And Phillips said, when are you coming? Phillips then talked to Bean and that got the ball rolling again because they hadn't really talked since the beginning of the season, I guess. But good for a guy like Hyde who's been in the league a long time to not get the bumps and bruises of, 5
the
months.
everyday,
of
the
football.
everyday wear and tear. Yep.
Right. So he looked to be in pretty decent shape on the practice field,
Yeah,
but
he looked healthy.
he got 7 months to rest at this point, which is kind of
especially for someone that's usually hurt during the season.
Well, he got
Yeah,
those
I mean-
splingers in his neck. He had the fit discs fused or something.
Mhm. Yep.
So hopefully we'll get there. But all right. Well, let's
One more thing. Sorry, we're just talking around the NFL. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
That hit on Trevor Lawrence, the suspension. Tom Brady's comment was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that today.
Yeah.
About fines both ways and penalties both ways, not sliding in short enough time. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a dangerous rule to enforce. Something like when is the proper time to slide?
It's interesting because the whole reason a lot of these rules are in play is because of the
Tom
hits on
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the one that commenting like, oh, I think they've gone too far with
Too
this.
soft.
look,
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
he never said that.
The hit was dirty. It was a dirty hit. I mean, it was very obvious that Trevor Lawrence was going down, and he was pretty much going down before he even left his feet.
Oh yeah.
And then you then have the ability to put your arm up in the air. Like it was a dirty hit, plain and simple.
And he's done it so many times before. So he's known. I mean,
Hasn't gotten ejected or flagged for it before, but this was one that they've gone back and seen like other stuff. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, at some point, you got to ease up a little bit and say, like, oh, he's sliding. Like, I need to ease up a little bit and not push my forearm or push my extra body weight into him into the ground. So I think there was 100% agree for suspension on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plays where he's had Tom Brady around the neck. There's hits on Josh Allen that he comes over the top, and some running backs that he's, doing the crocodile roll, which I don't know if you guys watched the Pat McAfee show today. But TJ Watt and JJ Watt, I guess, TJ's getting a lot of flack for doing that on Russell Wilson or somebody. I think it was
Burrow.
Russell Wilson. Oh, was it
Burrow.
Burrow?
Yeah.
Burrow. Yeah. You're right. And so he's getting a lot of flack for that. But I mean, you're taught that from Pee Wee. Like, grab the ankle, spin. Like, they got to go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I mean, you got to get
quarterback
that
to
somehow.
still make the play.
Yeah.
So that's why you do it. Yeah.
I get that something needs to change with when the quarterback's sliding, because they even brought up, I was listening to the radio and they talked about when, was it Rousseau that tried to, quarterback from Arizona,
Murray.
Murray.
Didn't he try, and he like rolled on top of him and they threw the flag on
Yeah,
that?
that was
So like, they're always like, quarterbacks kind of know, like if I slide late and they tap me, that it's an extra 15 yards. So why not just try and see if they just get an extra 15 yards out of it?
If you saw the Bosa interview before the Bills game, he went for 30 seconds praising Allen. And he throw in there, he flops a lot too. So it makes it difficult to play him the way you want to. Because it can, break a tackle and go for a touchdown, or he'll get you a 15-yard penalty. So,
but he's not doing the fake slides like Mahomes is.
Well, that Shazier, not only did he hit him, but he hit him in the head. Right. Like if you catch the guy in the shoulder, you're not getting fined and ejected. You might get the flag still. We've seen it against Josh, and we've seen it with our guys too. I mean, Benford got a bad one earlier in the year that I felt wasn't like he grazed the guy's shoulder, and that was flagged. So Brady's argument is the quarterbacks are weaponizing the slide, but at the same time, you got to allow some leeway for a defender to go in and make a play. So Kenny still did that in Pittsburgh, right? Or Pitt, when he was, there was the big fake slide, highlight.
Yeah.
So,
but he's on the IR now, out for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Oh, Lawrence. Yeah, he's not.
Makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, there's no sense in trying to bring him back or whatever. They're 2-10 at this point. Like you're on the track of getting. And Mac Jones has a real opportunity though to potentially, if he plays really well, play himself into a starting role somewhere.
And possibly the Raiders. The Raiders, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If they don't get one of the top picks, I mean, potentially.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go into the pick'em space here. We have a really good game on Thanksgiving. Geez, oh man, Thursday, not Thanksgiving. A little turkey hangover. We have the Packers at the Lions. Detroit are 3-point favorites.
I'm going to go with Detroit just because they're at home. I think it's going to be a very close game. We'll see if Detroit's defense can hold up, but I think it's going to be a close game. Detroit by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit as well.
I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Detroit's kind of a little injured there after the last game. I think Green Bay might be able to pull it out.
It's tough. I mean, Jordan Love has to be flawless in this game, but I think he's actually do that. So I think they're going to play really well. I think Green Bay's going to pull it out.
Cool. Yeah, it should be a good one. I mean,
split
a
there.
3-point.
I could go either way on this one, but
yeah, well, a 3-point spread, and we've talked about it before. The home team gets 2.5, so it's actually a half-point spread. It should be a good one. But Alex's point, I think, it's just going to be how long can they hold up with the Band-Aids and the duct tape. They have no pass rush right now, so it'll be, can they make do with what they got? So,
but I think their offense is also too good for Green Bay's defense, so it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Should be.
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout. Yeah.
All right, we'll skip the Bills for now. Saints at Giants. Saints -4.5. And
I'll take the Saints with the 4.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saints on this one.
Saints as well. Everybody.
I was going to say, should we all just say Saints?
That's fair.
There's no reason for the Giants to even win this game, and even try to win this game. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is hurt; he's on IR. I mean, they're
just go down with the ship and get the pick.
Go down with the ship and go get a top 3 pick at this point.
This is the game that they'll win, though, because that's what everybody wants them to do.
Right. It's old school Buffalo right there.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara is going to have a huge game. So he's going to go over him.
Browns at Steelers. Pittsburgh -6.5. I'm going to take the Steelers at home.
Browns won the last game in Cleveland.
All the more
reason
to take the
crazy
Steelers.
game, though.
The snow game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers now.
Yeah, me too.
Steelers in the revenge game.
There you go.
By
Jameis
blowout.
Winston still going to throw.
No.
Jameis Winston, let's say it now, side bet here. Does he throw more picks or touchdowns?
Or listen, he's got the Lord on his side. He's going to get no pick sixes this time.
I'm gonna take picks. I think he's gonna throw 3 picks to 2 touchdowns.
I think it'll be 2-2.
All right, Mitchell got the push.
1 and 2.
One touchdown, 2 picks, Goose. Alex is on 0 picks.
No, yeah, I don't think he's going to throw any.
Hail
Telling you.
Mary, full of James.
No, come on. Is he throwing any touchdowns, Alex, or is he just going 0-0?
He'll throw 2 touchdowns, no picks.
All right.
Yep.
That's what I said.
We're all over the board.
They're gonna lose, but they're only gonna have 14, maybe 17 total points. So it'll be like 30
Yeah.
17.
All right, Falcons at Vikings. Vikings are 6-point favorites. I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Same. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
That air is good for radio, guys. Here we go.
Kirk Cousins coming back to Minnesota. He's been playing awful the last couple weeks. This is just one of those weeks that Kirk Cousins is going to show up and just be
I'm
really,
gonna have.
really good.
I really want to go Atlanta, but I'm gonna have to stay with Minnesota.
All right.
It's me in this one.
I mean,
That's not the game to break away on.
the 10-2 Vikings against the 6-6 Falcons. So, next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against the Raiders. Tampa Bay are 6.5-point favorites.
Tampa Bay with the 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Going
but-
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Although Aiden O'Connell looked really good last week.
Well, until he got hit in the chest with a ball.
Yeah.
Panthers.
Let's talk about Brock Bowers for a second. Brock Bowers is a beast.
Yeah,
He is
he's
going
having
nuts.
a great
Yeah.
year.
Holy
He's just going
crap.
off. He
So
broke the record for tight end receptions, didn't he?
Yeah. So good. Anyway, sorry. Keep going ahead.
That's fine. He's nuts, and he's
He
not someone
deserves
who's
his
even
minute
on
of
my
fame
radar
on our
until-
podcast.
He wasn't even someone who was on my radar until about 3 weeks ago.
He's been on my radar all year with my fantasy team.
Oh, there you go.
Fortunately, he's not.
There you go. He's
Got
on pace to beat not only the tight end record,
But it's like rookie
or not even
receptions.
the
isn't
rookie
it?
record, but the tight end record. Because Laporta set the rookie one last year, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he's supposed to, if he keeps pace, he'll be higher than anything Gonzalez or
Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey or whomever got the big one, which is nuts. So good for him on a bad team. Panthers at Eagles. Eagles are 13-point favorites. I'm ready to put the big Eagles logo on the screen, I think, here.
I think, yeah.
Listen, the way Carolina played.
Mitchell,
All right.
You make me
All right.
put
Yeah.
4 little
Eagles,
squares on
Eagles.
the
Eagles.
It's most time
Saquon gets hurt this week.
Saquon gets hurt this week?
Yeah.
What?
He
wow.
is usually due for an injury in the year, and he hasn't had one yet. So could happen anytime.
It's gonna be a high ankle sprain.
6
Out.
weeks?
Out 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh,
Well, I'll bet his under, Mitch. I want to see I want to see $100 ticket on his under.
Yeah, right.
I put it right here. Here's my ticket, guy.
I gotta find if I got a free bet somewhere. or one of those no sweat bets.
No sweat. $100 token. Jags at Titans. Tennessee -3.5.
What a terrible
I'm-
game.
Terrible game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Tennessee because they're at home. It's a divisional game.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
Can
I think
take
Mac Jones
Jacksonville.
can do it, huh?
I do.
Yeah, they do.
Goose, you too, Jacksonville?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Titans.
Alex is a smart man.
Said no one ever.
I'm sure his students are all over that. Jets at Dolphins. Miami are 6-point favorites.
Maybe I'll just put the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's
you put the
yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah, me.
Oh,
Is Rodgers
my-
playing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
he's
lot
been
of
playing.
rumors that he's not.
It's the first time he hasn't been on the injury report, right? Was that last week or this week?
Rodgers is playing, says he has nothing to prove the rest of the year.
So watch him throw for 4 touchdowns and 350. Like,
I
I don't
will
think
be
his arm.
betting. Sorry, Goose, go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope.
I was
you're
say,
good.
I'll be betting Devontae Adams anytime touchdown, though. After
yeah, because Garrett Wilson doesn't do anything at all on this team. What a waste of a freaking second round, third round pick.
Well, Devontae Adams is my keeper, so
Yeah, me.
He'll be on a different team next year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Seahawks at Cardinals. Arizona are 2.5 point favorites. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm gonna go with Arizona.
Gonna go Arizona.
James Conner just re-signed a contract. Or got extended. He's gonna have a day.
Yeah, I'm thinking Arizona's going to pull this one out.
See, I've gone Arizona the last 3 weeks, and
So
I
I'm
have my
So it'll
My
work
in-
for us then.
yeah right. My in the back of my head favorite team besides the Bills is the Seahawks. I don't know why, but it's just back there. Maybe it's the colors. So whatever. Seattle. I'm lone wolf on Seattle. Bears at Niners. San Fran are 4-point favorites. I am going to take Mr. Pink and Black nail polish himself, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears too.
Yeah. New interim coach, right?
Yep.
So
That's the
it
rule.
didn't work out when the Bills had
Yeah.
when we played the Jets, but I think it's
Little
going to
different.
Chances
I'm
are
gonna
in
go
our
with Bears
favor.
too.
Perfect. Yeah, Matt Eberflus. Keep going.
Eva Floor.
what an idiot.
First of all, can we just talk about that for a second? So the Bears allow him to go on to the press conference to represent the Bears franchise, knowing that 2 hours later they were going to fire him.
Yeah.
Why would you not just push the press conference back?
Paperwork.
And then, what are you doing?
Well,
It was a night game, right?
and then he has the audacity.
Audacity.
I will be here. I will be coaching the game Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be coaching for San Fran, preparing for Arizona next week.
Yeah.
But you just say, no, we did the right thing down the stretch there. What do you mean?
Well,
I was
Caleb
watching
also-
that being like, why aren't they taking time out? What are they
Ryan
doing? There's
Caleb-
like 30
well-
seconds left.
Caleb called an audible on the field.
Yeah.
And wasted another 12 seconds.
I was waiting for him to pull the guy in motion because
Yeah,
that's
like, what
how
are you doing?
so bad it was.
Yeah.
But he wanted to check Manner's zone. Man, what a mess that was. All right. Then we got Chargers at Chiefs, which should be a really good game. That's the Sunday night game. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was
And
gonna
what?
say I'm looking forward to this one. I think
Oh yeah.
this has the potential to be the Chiefs' downfall if it.
Mhm.
That's where
That's
I'm headed.
Me too.
I am gonna take the Chargers. They've played pretty well over the past few weeks. They lost to Baltimore, which they shouldn't have lost. But I'm gonna take the Chargers. And actually pretty heavily. I'm gonna take them by 10.
Oh, wow. That's
Chargers -10. No,
Adam's starting Justin Herbert in fantasy with that comment.
I am in fact. I'll be taking the Chargers as well.
same here.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel a little odd that we're all going to take the Chargers with the Chiefs at home on Sunday Night Football, but was also leaning towards the Chargers.
I'm, to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to not putting a little arrowhead on the
They
screen
were-
at all this week.
I mean,
Even if we go over
Chargers
4, it might be
number
worth.
one. Yeah, number one total defense. Chargers. I just think they're going to be amped for this game. They only lost by 7 the first time, so
Well, and I think the difference is the coach.
Yeah.
You know.
I was going to say something.
Yeah.
They've lost so many games to the Chiefs over the last 3 years due to coaching that it's just
Yeah.
Staley was horrible.
I'm actually seeing the Chiefs are actually, looking forward to the schedule, these last couple. I think they got like 2 or 3 losses coming their way.
Yeah, they don't have an easy out.
No, I mean, they finish after this week, they go to the Browns, which, obviously, but then they got the Texans,
But
at
the
home,
Browns,
and then the Steelers, and then the Broncos.
Yeah, they could
in
lose 3.
Denver.
They could lose.
They can use
the
all
next
3 of those
4
games.
at least.
Yeah. So
if they're playing like they have been,
But if they
Yeah.
find that switch, like I mentioned earlier, then they could walk it. I mean,
Yeah,
they'll win a
hopefully-
close one, but they'll win a 28-20, where it's never necessarily in contention at the end type of game. A 2 possession like we beat Kansas City. So
Yeah. Hopefully they still have another week to stall that switch.
Bengals at Cowboys. Cincinnati are 5-point favorites. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati with the points.
Cincinnati.
We're not going to go with Micah's comment of like, don't let us get going. Don't let us get in the playoffs. You don't think? No, I'm just kidding. Bengals. Bengals going to roll
rushed.
this game. This isn't even going to be. It's only -5. Take those points. I mean, that game is going to be close.
Just want to clarify to our viewing audience, which is essentially us and our families, we are not special handicappers.
There's all strictly money lines.
Regularly all money lines. Bills, last one. Bills at Rams. Bills are 4-point favorites on the road. I'm going to take our Lord and Savior Josh Allen.
Bills by $1 billion.
Yep.
I'm a little worried about this one. A little worried about this game, just because they got really good receivers in Kyron Williams, but I do still think that the Bills pull this one out. So
yeah, this is a trap game. And
with the Lions next week, yeah.
Yep.
So, all right,
I'd feel more comfortable if it was Lions next week at home versus in Detroit. But
back to back at home or away games. Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. It's not good outdoors.
We go away to, like you guys just mentioned, Rams in Detroit. Then we're home against the Pats, home against the Jets, and then finish away in New England.
Maybe starters or no starters in that game, depending on
what the only way the starters are in is if
we have seeds in the play. Yeah,
with chance to get the number 1 overall seed. Yeah. I mean, even those 2 games against the Patriots, they're like the beginning of the year looked so easy. Now you're kind of like, oh, they're not.
They're coming.
While the
their
Patriots
own now,
are 3-10. I mean, but they've looked halfway decent the last couple weeks. Decent defense. Drake May is playing well. So those games aren't very easy. Even this Jets game, I don't like this Jets game. That second to last week. Just I know it's the Jets, but that'll end up being the game that Rodgers plays really well or something.
Well, and I would like to think that between Brady and but what's his name? Defensive coordinator. Babich, yeah. We've outgrown the anxiety of the Buffalo Bills and the classic trap games and the end of season fall offs. Mm-hmm. The way we've played so far this year. Yep. We didn't expect to play as good as we have, and we've shown up. So I'd like to think that's not a non-issue, but I guess we'll see. I mean, it's the old Buffalo Bills for you. So,
yep. The Patriots could potentially lose out the rest of the season, and this is not a contradiction to what you just said, Goose, because Drake May has looked good. They just don't have the horses, I don't think. But they go at Cardinals. They're on the bye this week, so at Cardinals.
Glad we don't got them coming off a bye, at least.
Yeah, at Cardinals, at Bills, home against the Chargers, home against the Bills. They could legitimately lose 4, which I don't want to see a top 5 pick in the division, but we may. With a 3-win team, they'll most likely be in the top 5.
You're going to put Travis under.
Well, how many wins the Jets have?
3.
Yeah, so they could be in the same boat. We could end up with 2 top picks in the draft.
Sure.
Yeah, you could have 2 top 5 picks essentially because the Jags are 2 wins, the Giants have 2 wins, the Jets have 3, Patriots with 3. Trying to remember who else only has like 3.
Cleveland has 4.
Titans only have 3. Cleveland's got 4. Yeah, so
okay. Well, so there's that, and with the most logical transition, we're talking about draft picks. Who would you pick on your team for the Golden at Bat with the new MLB proposal? That's terrible.
Start over.
Lead us through the Golden at Bat situation. Is it something that's going to be implemented or voted on or what?
Yeah, I think it's something that they're looking at implementing potentially next year. So essentially, for those that don't know, you can basically put any batter that's in your lineup at any point. So the example I gave earlier is Shohei Ohtani gets struck out, but then they can use him again right after that to bat.
So is it the
Um,
opponent can or the person like that team can?
That team. So that manager has to go out and make the decision and pull the trigger of, when they think they want their most important bat or whatever. But there's some strategy goes into this too. Do you ride the hot hand? Like in the playoffs, Tommy Edman for the Dodgers, he ended up winning NLCS MVP. Do you ride him? Do you rather have him bat, or do you put Shohei Ohtani, who really didn't play very well in the NLCS, but he's your best bat? Like that's where it kind of gets interesting, because now the manager's actually making a decision, whereas everything now is so analytically driven. Now you're actually putting some more control back in the manager, and the manager actually has to make a tough decision. Like, when do you think the game is, your chance to actually win?
And it's one a game.
One per game.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more interesting if the opposing team got to pick.
Got to pick who kind of go at bat.
Well, yeah, hey, two outs, bases loaded. Hey, I want him to bat. Like, that would make it more interesting.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, you couldn't ever do it with pitchers like that, where they would want, hey, I want Garrett Cole to pitch to this batter, but he already pitched this game and we took him out. Like, you couldn't do that, but it would be cool to try. It would be an interesting thing to do that. But, people are screaming about it, but it's like, you do that with pitchers right now anyway. Starting pitchers come out of the bullpen all the time. In 2001 World Series, Randy Johnson pitched how many games in that World Series?
23 years ago.
For everyone that knows.
For all you youngins out there listening.
Anyone doesn't know what Randy Johnson is.
And end of the Yankee
killed the
dynasty
bird.
that year. End of the Yankee dynasty that year. But some of the naysayers about it is like, but you might not have that magical moment with that, player, like an Aaron Boone in 2003, where he hits the home run, or even Bucky Dent in 1978.
Yeah, you want to have people like make the name for themselves in that moment.
Or do you, because you used that golden at bat earlier in the game?
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome. I think it would be really cool. I think it's a way to get, potentially younger people watching the game, because you never know when the best player might come up again. You can get Aaron Judge a fifth at bat in a game, or, you can get Juan Soto, maybe even a sixth at bat, or a back-to-back at bat, against a pitcher that normally a lot of the, you look at the Guardians manager during the ALCS, his biggest strategy was not letting the Yankees hitters see the
same pitcher,
the reliever multiple times. So now you get a back-to-back look at the same guy potentially. So it would be an interesting dynamic of both managers. Oh, they have this golden at bat like sitting there, can we let this guy go again, or do we have to take him out? Or because then, even in the fifth inning, if they're rallying and, the best hitters 3 or 4 down, you could stick them into that next spot with bases loaded or whatever, and, try and get him that extra look at the guy. So it's an interesting dynamic of when to use that.
I just don't know why there's a need to do it though. Like, what's the real point behind it?
Blitz MLB edition.
Yeah,
It's
like doesn't make sense.
You have to try to adapt to the game. So it would be this. So same thing. Think about they put the pitch clock in. Put the pitch clock in.
Yeah,
everyone
move the game along a little bit faster.
It doesn't take 6 hours on TV anymore.
Yeah,
right. But but everyone was screaming about that, and then they also made the bases bigger. And that, you don't even know. You didn't even know that the bases got bigger.
Those are a little bit different than this.
Well, the pitch clock I think is more integral game by game, not even just for TV time, but How many times would guys step off or out of the box or off the mound and all that kind of stuff? What they're trying to do is draw an audience back to baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it exciting so you can turn on a game in the third inning or the eighth inning, and it could be a pivotal moment no matter what time it is. And they're trying to get their biggest stars more exposure. I mean, if Ohtani gets the nod once a game, every 2 out of every 3 opportunities, it's an extra 90 at bats for him. 90 at bats gets you, with Ohtani, maybe 15 more home runs, or maybe less, maybe 5. But it's Ohtani in the clutch every day, every game.
Yeah,
or Fred Freeman or Soto or whatever. So I understand why they're doing it. It's definitely not a purist kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like when they added the DH years ago.
Yeah,
same kind of concept.
Yeah, and now the DH is in both leagues. Now the DH is in both leagues, and for a long time, the National League was just the pitcher would bat and would bat and stuff. So, I like the idea. I think it's a great idea. But the biggest thing is, like you said, Adam, they're trying to draw attention back to baseball, and so if I ask all of you guys right now, what's bigger, MLB or the NFL?
NFL.
Okay, what's bigger, the NFL or the NBA?
NFL.
I still think NFL, but NBA probably.
What's bigger, NFL or the NHL?
NFL.
Until the NFL isn't the answer to all 3 of those questions, the other leagues are going to keep trying to change and trying to adapt and trying to draw more attention to themselves. And this is a way of doing that. They have to attract more audience. They have to attract a newer audience and a younger audience, because I still love baseball, but there's a lot of people that I went to high school with that don't even watch it anymore because they just hate it. And
so many games.
Analytics like killed baseball to some extent.
I think the length of the season is part of the problem.
Yeah,
the length of the season, they're never going to change the length of the season, just simply because the more games there are, the more money that the owners make.
They need the money.
But unless you do you could do almost 2 seasons at that point. It's between spring training, how long spring training is, that whole process, and then you get into
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that they're not going to change. They won't change the length of that. And I really dislike how long the playoffs are. I just think it's crazy the amount of games that they play. And I think this in most sports too. Like the NBA, I'm like, there's no reason that every single series needs to be 7 games.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, why are we playing 7 games?
Best of 5 for everything, except for the
5 is fine.
Except for the World Series or the finals.
They could do 3 in some of them, but like these travel days and stuff like that is stupid. Like the MLB, I liked it in the sense that they were playing back to back to back to back. They would play Monday, and then they would play Tuesday, and then have a travel day, and they play the next 3 days. Fine. The NBA, you play game 1, and then there's like a rest day, and then you play the next game 2, and then you have a travel day, and then you have 2 days off.
Yeah,
you have 2 days. It's just like, come on, it's like, what are we doing here? Like you're going from New York to Miami, like it's
3 hours on a flight. Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, let's put it to a vote. Mitch, yay or nay on the at bat rule, golden at bat?
I'm a nay.
Alex?
I'm a nay on that.
Yeah. I'm a yay, because anything that would make baseball more exciting, I think is the correct answer, within reason, obviously. But
I agree with that, but I don't agree with that rule.
I don't know what else would make it more exciting other than letting guys go back on juice.
There you go. Let's do that instead.
That's saying. You're a Cleveland fan? Yeah, exactly. So, I figured you were 4, but Mitch, you're a Cleveland fan, and you watch games whenever you can, obviously. If it's on and you're available, you'll watch. But until the playoffs, it wasn't must-see TV for you at any point.
I think I watched probably 5 games all year.
Oh, so that's terrible, actually. So I give you way more credit than I should have.
I follow. No, you're wrong. I follow them. I watched game trackers. I watched get updates.
Okay.
Like I don't physically watch the games. I can't bear to watch baseball games that aren't playoffs on TV.
I get you. Okay.
So
So
a lot of it's also tough about actually like getting the games too, because
Yeah, you can't watch
Blackout
them
and
all.
that stuff.
Well, I have it on.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, I have it, but
Yeah.
I can't sit there for 3.5, 4 hours watching baseball. Like, I love playing the game, played it my entire life. I wish I could be in the MLB right now myself, but I can't sit there and watch it.
I get you. Okay. So do you think you might catch because Cleveland's a good team, obviously, you think you might catch a few more games or at least watch more highlights or attempt to, you see on Game Tracker that they got 2 on with 1 out and they're going to
Yeah,
bring
I know what
Naylor
you're
up?
saying, but like I agree that baseball needs to change to be more popular. They need to change the rules. They need to change things. I don't agree with this particular rule.
Got you. Okay. And I'm not saying you need to. I was just saying, like,
Yeah, I know what
I-
you're saying. Like,
I
there's different
understand.
situations where I might agree with you, but this specific rule, I don't like it.
got you. All right. Well, we're deadlocked. So we'll have to forward that up to,
The higher ups of the Supreme Court.
yeah,
of
well,
the
that's
MLB.
up the ladder. I'm sure with as much traction as these videos get, they'll see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's left in the baseball god's hands now, guys. So
and we'll pass it over to Goose real quick as well. And this, I'm sure this is of interest to everybody. And I say it sarcastically, but I'm interested genuinely. Goose recently got a legitimate sauna in his home, like a wooden framed. You see it at
cedar sauna.
recreational warehouse type of deal.
That's solid.
It comes with guys with no towels
So you got a camera in there?
and their
Hey,
and their nuggets running on the wood panel. So Goose, tell us about this sauna.
It's nice. So it's actually interesting because I've actually seen a lot of them recently on Facebook Marketplace for sale, and was before I started actually doing it, and I got it up. I was like, why are they all selling these? Like, that's kind of interesting why they're selling them. And now I can,
See
now that I
what?
have it, it is really nice. Don't get me wrong. When you're in there, it's awesome, but I can understand because it takes a while for it to heat up, and so it takes about 30 minutes for it to get warm, and then you're going to sit in it for, another 30 minutes or so. So I kind of saying, just kind of set it up in middle of November, I think is when I started, like actually got it set up. So it'll be the first electric bill here coming up. So I'm be interested to see how high my electric bill might be. It is really nice when you're sitting in it. But it's kind of interesting because you came and you got it, and the directions, it wanted to run on its own 120, 15 amp,
yeah.
15 amp breaker. Fine. No big deal. That's what it would be run on because all the other outlets down there, but it also in a couple places said it recommended, and in other areas it said it required its own dedicated line. So I had to call them so those are two very different words. Recommended and required are very different wording. And we can't actually require you to do it. Like, well, you can if it's going to cause an issue, then yes, you can require it. But I was like, is it recommend or require? They said we just recommend. I'm like, okay. So basically, what you're saying is if I have anything else plugged in, just unplug it or turn it off when I'm running the sauna, and then unplug the sauna. And they're like, yeah, that'll be fine. Perfect. So, which the cold plunge is down there and stuff. So I just turned that off before I turned it on and all that sort of stuff. So
Gotcha.
Andy's gone in it. She'd used it for 10 minutes at like 90 degrees or whatever, just to get warm, and then use the red light therapy. So it does come with red light therapy, which is nice. So it's got Bluetooth. I mean,
So
I think I would enjoy it more if she could actually use it at this point too. You know what I mean? Like, because that was the reason why we bought this specific one, because both of us could actually sit in it at the same time and get it over with. Yeah, like do the sauna session together, because it's just kind of you're just kind of sitting there by yourself for 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes or whatever. I might have a game on or something I'm watching. But it's like, okay, I'm just sitting down here in the dark in red light, just kind of, so for me, it's not as exciting as,
You feel like you're in
getting up in the
Amsterdam?
morning, and going down into like the cold plunge. Like I actually like that better than doing the sauna. I liked your little steam sauna, Adam. I enjoyed that. So the benefits for the infrared are better than that, I guess, is what Andy was saying. So like it's supposed to help lose weight a little bit more and stuff like that. But
I like the steam sauna, but it takes about 15 minutes to get ready, to get the water boiling and all that stuff, obviously. But I will say, as the temperature has dropped, where mine's located, it's in our basement that has the outside door to it. That room drops to 60 degrees, 55 degrees probably. Like when it was super windy today, it was cold in there. The cold plunge was 50 degrees by itself today. It has the cover, it's insulated, so it stays cold, but it obviously never warmed up. And I can feel, though, the cold air against the sides of that sauna. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I do.
I told Felicia that's going to come in when I use it. Like I'll just bring it into that section of the basement that's not outside door eligible or adjacent, and then I'll just put it back out when I'm done. But we're going to get one in the spring, like you have, the red light, the whole 9 yards. And for those of you who have ever used a sauna before, the difference in Goose's is a dry sauna. So it's just very, very, what he said, 130.
Could you
there.
put, a bucket with water and stuff and steam it, Goose, or no?
No, only so it doesn't. I don't think it would work quite like that. So it runs like it heats off the electric, obviously, and stuff like that, and it emits like off panels.
I'm thinking of like the old
that you just pour
stone.
water
Yeah,
on it.
no, it doesn't have those. So it's so I mean the one really nice thing about it is it really doesn't require any maintenance because you don't have to like clean it or anything like that because you pretty much set the towel down, and that's what you're sitting on. So you're not, you might sweat a little bit here and there, but it doesn't really require like a ton of cleaning because it's there's no steam or anything like that. It's just essentially
Just a hot room.
heat. Just heat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about it just down the road with you, see what it's like day to day. Because the cold plunge is something Felicia does every day. Unless she's sick, she's done it every day. I do it probably 3-4 times a week. What?
You should
Sounds
try it, Mitch.
terrible.
I think you'll really love it. You'll have a good time.
I played football on Thanksgiving and the day after, and Adam gave me so much crap about go in the cold plunge. And I was going to, but I mean, at that point, I was already too sore. What's it going to do for me? Like nothing.
It make you not sore.
That's literally the purpose of it. It's an anti-inflammatory action, like putting your muscles and your bones and joints in cold water is an anti-inflammatory.
So is
purpose.
Tylenol and BioFreeze.
Two very different remedies to that solution. One's legitimately cold water for your whole body at once. The other's medicine.
It's also
Jameson couldn't fix.
really it's also really good for you too because it actually helps clean your blood vessels out as the blood rushes to your inner core as you sit. So
And that's where all my insulation is.
Mitchell's built for this weather, Goose. The folks can only see from his shoulders up, but Mitchell's built for this.
The cold never bothered me anyways.
Andy both do the cold plunge every day too, as long as we can do it. So if we're not here, we can't, but we do it every day that we can. I see Mitch is into the hydrogen water bottle as well.
I've had it for a couple months now.
I don't have one of those.
Alec, get on the train,
I'm
brother.
trying.
Alec's
It's
fine
taking
with
some
you.
time.
Jen hasn't gotten
We got a like the sauna like you have, Adam. Jen wanted to get one of those, so it's in a box right now. that hasn't been set
Nice.
up for a while, but
It's like 14 seconds. Let's
I
set it
gotta
out.
find. Listen, I gotta find
those are a little
space for it. I
easier
don't know where to
setup.
find it.
I expect it in the background next week. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just be
Just
back
Alex
here.
for doing it. Doing it with his head out the window and there's just steam coming out. The whole,
In
Perfect.
location from the sauna.
I was thinking of doing this. I was thinking about doing it from like in the sauna or whatever, just like sitting there like with the red light behind. But then I was like, it's probably not the best thing.
I don't know
to
if you
do,
could
so.
sweat for an hour and 20 minutes.
Just pass out.
Definitely not the recommended amount of
So, all right, we're running a little long on this one, so let's go right into the movie. Hoosiers was the pick. Let me go first on this one real quick. Hoosiers is Hoovers, one of my favorite dairies. No, Hoosiers is one of my favorite movies, sports wise. I think I said when Goose was looking for it last week, like if I got to buy it, I'll buy it. That's fine, because it's something that I don't know. It's one of those old school movies I like. In complete contrast to Miracle, for no reason apparently. But one of my favorite ones. I'm going to give it a 8.1 personally.
I'll hop in real quick. I'll give you my score from Deadpool Wolverine last week real quick.
8.2.
8.4.
8.4.
I'm a big Marvel guy. A lot of things in that movie, and I think Adam hit that nail on the head. If you watch Loki, even if you just jumped into Loki and then just the Deadpools, that would catch you up on a lot of stuff. Loki's more just like a plot setter for the MCU in general.
It's all the glue.
So I'd give it an 8.4. Really like the movie. Really look forward to it. Just never made it to the movies to go see it. Hoosiers. It's an old school movie. I probably only seen it twice up until this point. I thought it was really good. It's very inspirational. Old school in the sense like Hard Knocks coach. I like the movie. I think it was really good. But I'm going to end up with a 7.8 on that guy.
Still a good score, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like. I actually didn't watch the movie before, so but kind of what everybody else is saying. It's a real inspirational movie, but then old school coaching, like just yelling at everybody, get out of here if you're not going to listen. But it was a great. I'd watch it again. It was an easy movie to watch too, so I'd give it about like an 8.0.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite sports movies as well. It's it kind of, I mean, obviously my high school basketball coach wasn't obviously quite like this, but it kind of reminds me of that, like because of him doing the sprints and stuff, making us do sprints and stuff like that, and the hardcore defense and stuff. So it kind of brings you back to that, and so it's always I really like the movie, and it's also like one of those classical scenes, like when they're in the field house and he's got the measuring tape, like, oh, how high is the basketball hoop? 15 feet, or 10 feet, and then it's from the foul line here, it's 15 feet. You'll find it's the same dimensions as our gym in Hickory, blah blah blah, and just trying to. So I think if I remember correctly, one of our teams had gone. I think we played at Manley Fieldhouse for a game when we were in high school, and we did the same thing type of situation. Like it's 94 feet and this and that. Like they're all the same dimensions, because Manley Fieldhouse, if you had never been there before it got torn down, it was huge. Not as big as the Dome, but it was pretty massive to play in there. So it was. So yeah. Anyway. Long story short, it was I love the movie. It's one of my favorite ones. I'll probably, I'd be in that mid 8 range, probably that like 8.5, somewhere in there. Just
I think we might have a new leader. We'll see momentarily.
Yeah.
All right, it's up now. But definitely a good one. Something I'll probably watch again in the next handful of months. So it's my pick this week, and I'm going to keep the theme. I went with That Thing You Do last time, and I'm going to go with a family-friendly one that's been on in my house a bunch. Don't know if you guys have seen it. The Greatest Showman. Coming off of Deadpool Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. And that thing you do with the music, we're going to marry the two.
This is me.
This is you. You're built like Lenny. But it's the same beard.
Yep.
That's what we're going to roll with for next time. So Disney Plus, trying to keep that subscription alive for you guys.
Thanks.
There we go.
All
Free
right.
is fun.
Yep. So that is it for us tonight. Appreciate you guys sticking with us through all of this mess. But we appreciate you. So go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Matt Milano with the pick this week. Welcome back, buddy.